everyone, how you doing? How you doing out there in internet land?
Hey,
How
you doing?
My name is Freddie Hernandez. You might know me as Tavarish, and this is my friend who definitely did not just walk into my house and demand that he be on this podcast. His name is, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
How you doing today, man?
I'm great. I just did finger guns again.
That's right. You are Andrew Fingerguns Howell. That's
I don't know if I like that.
No, I don't think you should do that. I mean, first of all, I think the Twitter handle at Fingerguns probably is not. It's probably taken.
Yeah, probably.
But by some unscrupulous actors. So I don't know. I don't.
Is there an actor with finger guns? Is this,
Maybe. I mean, maybe you guys can Google it. Like let's
do
see
it. Google. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So so today I wanted to touch upon a few things that I didn't get to talk about in the last episode.
Our longest episode ever.
Yes. Well, let's see how long this one is. Today's gonna be our shortest episode. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching.
So I went to the Sebring 12-hour race. Michelin sent me out for the pilot experience, which was really cool. We had some great food, and we drove some great cars, and it was just a great time.
It was a good old time.
Yeah. However, it's just when I had dinner the second night, when we had dinner on the actual racetrack.
Yes.
I sat with a Michelin executive. I can't remember his name. I'm horrible with names. He was a very, very nice gentleman. I'm not sure what his title was, but I know that he's like kind of one of the
up there.
One of the higher muckety mucks, right? And we also had Johnny Valencia, who basically set me up with this whole thing. He's basically a friend to all the influencers, you know. He's the guy that deals with advertising and maybe not advertising. I might be just butchering his position, but he's a really, really cool guy in Michelin, loves cars, knows his brand very, very well. And he tries his best to get everybody, like he sent me out tires for my Lamborghini. He sent me out tires for my dually. Johnny's just the best guy.
That's awesome.
Right. So I had a conversation with these two gentlemen, and in our table was also sitting Jason Fensky from Engineering Explained, just so I can drop names and you guys can be like, hey, that I know that.
I know that guy.
I know that man from the internet. So Jason Fensky from Engineering Explained and Saab Kyle 04.
Awesome.
And so they were there as well. And we had another guy, I believe, he has a podcast called Driving with Awesome or something, Awesome Driving. I'm horrible with names. I'm horrible with, like, my memory is usually good, but names is just so.
I know what you mean, Frank.
So you know what? I actually tried to play off that by calling you another thing. All that was coming into my name, all that was coming into my brain was Andrew. I'm like, don't say Andrew. All right, Andrew, and Andy and Arnold.
Arnold. That's my name now. So tell me more about this dinner you had on the track.
Then we got to the chopper. So
Usually making helicopter blades now.
it's like that Simpsons thing where it's like you have to make a anagram out of Jeremy Irons. And it's like Jeremy's iron. It's like you can't think of anything. It's useless. All right, so we're at this dinner, and Johnny starts talking about the Koenigsegg record attempt.
I think it's pronounced Koenigsegg.
Koenigsegg. You have to say it with an R, like you just cashed out your failing business.
Yes.
It's a Koenigsegg. We actually had a Koenigsegg at the event.
It was the Agera
RS, but it was badged an XS. So the Agera RS, that car is actually more powerful than the 1-to-1. So, and one guy in South Florida, he drove it up there. Super cool guy. I met him and I think his wife or girlfriend.
Would you say that it had an excess of power?
It was quite excessive. Yes, it was quite. Yeah, I know, right? Because it sounds like the word. Okay. So this car, it was a beautiful car. It's in my video. It's just this orange, just great. When it showed up, it's like everybody was like, "Oh my god,
Who's that lady?
are you an angel?" They were talking about, well, in the dinner they were talking about the record attempt. So Koenigsegg had a top speed record attempt that would beat the Bugatti Veyron. And the Veyron did it in, I believe it was like 267 miles an hour, something like that.
I think the Veyron was 256.
Right. So officially it was 256, right?
Yeah.
That's the official.
Yeah.
But I know on Top Gear they said that they did 267, but it's not like official. It was like unofficial.
Well, you
right?
have to go both ways.
You have to go both ways, and then they have to average those. So Bugatti did it on Volkswagen Test Track. I think it's called Erlesen or something.
Erlesen.
Yeah, Erlesen. And it has a 6 mile straight.
Yes.
And it was built, I think, in
World War II.
Yeah, World War II. So just 6 miles straight, and you can test whatever you want. Test top speed, plenty of space for it. Koenigsegg obviously does not have a 6 mile straight on a private test track.
They're also not part of the VAG, which Bugatti is.
Exactly. So it was once said that Bugatti was the only company that can actually do this because they have access to all this stuff. You're not ever going to go 250 miles an hour like on public roads, right?
I mean, speak for yourself.
Listen, I got some up boost.
Listen,
I got the Cobb tuner. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I got a stratified tune, so you don't know who you're talking to here.
I know a thing or two about performance. Okay, I got Firestones on all four corners.
Yeah.
So
And the Indy Firehawk 500s.
those are good tires. My wife has them on her Elantra.
Cool.
No. I mean, like, I'm not making a joke. Like, that's actually a really good tire.
Wow, those are really great tires.
You should-
My wife has them on her Elantra.
Well, it only has 200,000 miles. It's quite a performance-oriented machine. So on the record attempt of Koenigsegg, they didn't have that. So they went to, I believe it was Nevada. Is it Nevada or Nevada? I think it's Nevada. Like, how do you pronounce it? I think it's Nevada. Well, whatever. It's either Nevada or Arizona.
Nevada.
Yeah, Nevada. So it was in the desert, essentially.
I love being in the desert.
And they don't we all? But listen, we're keto people now. We don't talk these things.
Speak for yourself.
Oh no! Oh, you've fallen.
Just the past week.
Fallen from grace.
Yes, yeah. But hey, I'm still losing weight, though. That's the cool part.
See, the good part about being on a diet is not being on a diet. So Koenigsegg shut down 11 miles of highway.
Whoa.
Yeah, 11 miles. So,
Take that, Volkswagen.
yeah. And they needed tires because a lot of Civic owners think that you can go as fast as you want on tires, and that's fine for a Civic that's geared to go 140. Like, you can have handle anything. For a car that does north of 250, that starts to be a problem.
Yes.
Because you don't know what the compound does at those speeds, at those temperatures, at those pressures. So with the Veyron, they had to do extensive testing, and they made a tire specifically for the Veyron.
It's a lot of money, too.
It is. It's like they actually made a remanufactured, like a re-engineered one. And it's not $30,000 a set. It's like $10,000 a set.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. So, I mean, you say that, but you save $20,000. Like, $20,000 is still $20,000. But you're still paying $10,000 for tires.
Isn't the windshield wiper stock on a Veyron like $30,000 because it's like made of a single piece of milled magnesium or something?
Yeah, something like that. So, what's funny is on the Veyron, you have to replace the wheels.
The wheels
themselves, because they get micro cracks or something. Like, they're made out of magnesium, I believe. And
So they're actual mag wheels.
Yeah, they're actual mag wheels, not like the Kragers that you get on a 72 Camaro.
Got them from Jag.
Yeah. So I believe they're magnesium or some sort of like weird alloy that's only available in like a remote part of the Somalian jungle. You know, like
This metal is actually gathered from the feces of a monkey that died 2 million years ago.
it's made of petrified guano.
Combined with meteorite metal and some other things that are not exactly legal, and we cannot speak about them on camera.
Exactly.
It's polar bear femurs.
Yeah, polar bear femurs. So the Veyron actually has wheels that you have to replace over, I don't know, 5,000 miles or 5 or 10,000 miles. Right?
I wonder what the bolt pattern is on a Veyron. Just as another aside,
I think Civic wheels could probably fit like 5. I think it's probably 5 by 114.3.
probably 5 by 120 at least.
Listen, I don't.
It might be a 6 lug.
It's like a Viper. Viper like,
Or like the
"Let's
CTS.
put whatever we got on the Ram on that thing. Who cares?
The first gen CTSV for some reason has truck hubs. Like, well, it's going to be fast. So
We need something beefy.
that car's going to have more nuts, lug nuts.
So
anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So you need to replace the wheels, and but the thing is, on the Chiron, you don't. And I'm like, that's kind of funny. Like, Volkswagen just figured that out. Like, we figured out a way so you don't have to replace your wheels every time you do an oil change. Like, that's weird. But I think the Chiron wheels fit on the Veyron. So those of you Veyron owners, yeah, I know.
Hit up Craigslist, get you a set of Chiron wheels.
Exactly. Yeah, you might be saving some money there. So back to Koenigsegg. Koenigsegg doesn't have the money to make a new tire from scratch, and I don't think Michelin wants to.
That doesn't. I mean, that's actually kind of surprising.
Well,
kind of, not really.
No,
They're a very
because
small
like
operation.
like Volkswagen can sort of pony up all the stuff, you know.
Right.
But what Koenigsegg did do is they called Michelin and they said, we need a tire that can beat the Veyron. The saving grace is that the Koenigsegg Agera or the 1-to-1, I can't remember what, I think it was Agera. It is way lighter than the Veyron. Veyron's like 4,000 pounds.
I think more than that.
Yeah, it's a heavy girl.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. She got thick thighs.
She's
THICC.
right. So the Agera it's all carbon fiber and it's more race car than luxury car. And I think it's around 3,000 pounds, something like that, maybe less. So they didn't need all that. They didn't need specialized tires. So what they went with was off-the-shelf Cup 2s, Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s. And they went to Michelin and they said, will these tires do 275 miles an hour? Like, will they do that? And Michelin was like, dude, like, yeah.
There's
Listen,
only
man.
one way to find out.
Yeah. So they said, okay, so we can test them. We're gonna test them, and we need data from you. So they needed data up to like from 200 miles an hour, incremental data by mile an hour with pressures and temperatures and what the car's doing and how long it takes to get there. You know, because duration also matters a lot. Because the tires like literally wear out. So how much grip they have and like where you're going to do it and what the elevation, like everything, all this really sciencey stuff. And they get to the 11-mile test track, and they're doing the thing, and they're taking their measurements or whatever. They start start doing their runs. They don't get up to the top speed right away, but they start doing their runs up to 200s and whatever. And then the guy from Koenigsegg tells Johnny from Michelin, he says, because Johnny's trying to get more info out of Koenigsegg, more data, more just to back up the fact that these tires aren't going to blow up or cause some damage. And Koenigsegg were like, oh, we tested this in Sweden up to like 250 like before we got here. So we know it's fine there. Like, and
if it works in Sweden,
and then they were like, yeah, I wish you would have told me that. Like, yeah, it would have been nice.
if the tire works in Sweden, it'll work in Nevada.
Yeah. No, but it's like, well, we just like did it. Like we just did this thing. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. Like they just did not care. Like, yeah, we did our homework before we got here, so we know it'll do that. And what ended up happening was there was a tire shop many miles away. And if they had a tire blowout or they had to change tires, they would have to drive. And, that takes time, right? So in order for them not to drive, they just said, let's run what we brung and see how many runs we can get. So they kept on pushing and pushing how fast they can go and how many runs they can do. So the first run, I think it's on the internet, like the entire like raw run. And what's funny is they said you don't need, since we have 11 miles, you don't need to do any, don't do any race start or whatever. Start hitting it, like go maybe half throttle, maybe a little less, up to 200 or up to like 190 or something. And the way this thing accelerates, it's just insane. So it gets to 200, it gets there reasonably quick. Then they hit full throttle at around like 190, 200. Then you see it just climb 200, 210, 220, like the laws of physics do not apply to this car anymore. It's just like they're just like, we've hit hyperspace, and it gets.
They've gone plaid.
Yeah, they've gone plaid. And it hits 280 something miles an hour.
Good night.
Yeah, 280 miles an hour, and they did it back to back, right? So then after they did those two runs, they said, we'd like to do a run where it is we try to beat our record from 0 to 300 kilometers an hour to 0, because it actually had that record. Koenigsegg held that record. It was like 25 seconds or something like that. 0 to 300 kilometers an hour. That's about 186, right? 186 down to 0 in 20 something. It might even be 20 seconds. I might be butchering it, but imagine that. Like,
that's fast.
But this car already did like 2 or more runs at 280 on these tires.
Unreal.
So the Michelin guys were like, I don't know. This is really like, this is uncharted territory from the get-go. But they're like, maybe you should change the tires. And then I think they convinced the Michelin guys to do it or something, and they're like, all right, fine, let's one run. It's like, yeah, Mom, I want to watch some TV. Like, okay, 10 minutes, and they're like, okay, all right, and they do it, and they beat their record. And on these tires that are, I'm not sure how bald they are, but they've definitely been used.
What's wrong with being bald?
There's nothing wrong with being bald, but you are not a tire, sir. You are not your baldness does not hit the ground because that would be quite.
I don't have hair on the bottom of my feet.
I guess that works. I don't know where you're going with that, but
me either.
I'll play along. Yes, and yeah. So they did it. They beat their record.
Wow.
And it's just I can't imagine. One thing I love about these big companies, because Koenigsegg is a it's not a big business, but it's a big business. It's one of those.
It's a big money business. They make a lot of money.
Right. They make. I'm not even sure how much money they make. But they definitely are a big brand. It's not like mom and pop's pizza shop. Like they people know them the world over, and they make the fastest cars in the world. Literally the fastest cars in the world. So it's funny when they get together with a $1 billion corporation like Michelin, and it's basically like a bunch of guys saying like, I think we'll probably do it. Like, it'll work. Like, whatever. Like,
it's like NASA.
Yeah. Like, do you have some duct tape? Like, we could probably make this work. Like, and that's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's like we have a goal. Let's get this done. Like, obviously we don't want to kill anybody. We don't want to, we want to make sure it's safe. But I feel like with Volkswagen that would never happen. I feel like Volkswagen is like, oh, this is 1 degree off. Let's just call it off or whatever.
I mean, you say that.
No, yeah.
But the whole Dieselgate thing.
Well, Dieselgate. People like went to jail and stuff. So no, I understand. This is different from Dieselgate. This is like because nobody was defrauded or anything. It wasn't. I think with Volkswagen that was very calculated, and I saw they had the rules, and they were like, we can go around these. Like it's technically it's in the rules, but we have this mode where it almost it'll meet the emission standards for such and such and such, but in real world it doesn't do that. So I know I totally get that, but this is not that. This is just I love the sort of backyard engineering aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Even though there's millions of dollars at play here. And I just adore that. So another thing that we talked about was one thing I love to talk about when I'm with these kind of high echelon guys is like cheap stuff. I love to talk about old crappy junk. And it's funny because a lot of people like the same thing. But we started talking about what cars we like what cars we would buy, and the conditions of cars we would buy. And a lot of people were like, I won't now. Tires are very, very important in how I look at the car. And if a car has bad tires on it, then I'm going to pass up because I know that the owner wasn't fastidious and that sort of thing. And I'm like, I'm the opposite way. Like, I want a car to be crap because like I could change a set of tires. Like I'll rather get some money off. Like,
Hey, I'll buy this. I can fix it. I'll buy it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's a dent. Like, I could fix that dent. Like, that's not a problem. But it's not like some egregious error, like Pirelli's. Did you say?
If that were the case, I would have stayed away from the ST that I got.
Right. So
Are those Iron Man eye moves?
right. Like, I said good day.
I move away from this car.
So we ended up talking about what are the differences between something like a Michelin, just like a regular street tire, and the top of the line Chinese brand. Top of the line Chinese tire that's meant for performance. I say performance in air quotes. So and then they started laughing. It's like it's so different. So and Jason Fensky, engineering, explained, he was talking about he went to an event. I think it might have been a Michelin event, but they had I think it was like a Subaru WRX with some Chinese brand, whatever you get, like the lowest bargain basement on Tire Rack or Sears or whatever, right? And then they had a minivan with Michelins on it, stock Michelins that come on the minivan. The minivan was like, it was almost lapping I think it might have lapped the Subaru because it was so laughable. And what people don't understand is that they have a mentality that comes from maybe decades ago when tread design was like all the rage. So if you had like that deep V that looks really cool, it's like, oh, that must be a good tire. Looks really aggressive. Yeah, all the rain kind of splashes away. But they said that tread design really doesn't matter all that much, and it's they put all the R&D now is compound. Yeah. They said like, but that's what Chinese tires, like cheap brands, like they don't care about that.
No,
they just care about the looks
and sales.
Right. So and a lot of people when they you have a dealership where they go, this car needs new tires, let's just put whatever cheap crap that we have here, instead of putting something.
Which is the case of my car.
Right. So that's the same thing with my wife's car. My wife's Elantra had some, I don't know what, Ling Longs or something.
What?
I think that is a tire brand, actually. I think it was a Salon Attrezzo. That's a tire that was on there. Right? Yeah, I don't know. So they had this minivan and it just walloped the Subaru. And I mean, one of the best things you can do for a car is get tires for it.
Oh, absolutely.
It changes every characteristic of driving that car. And one of the biggest things that I'm worried about is rain. And these tires with like super aggressive tread pattern, but they have like really crap compound. They usually get roads get slick. It's like you're skating on ice. And it's, we have torrential downpours here. So that's one thing I was really concerned about with my wife's car. That's why I got something a little bit more racy for, the Firestone. You have those tires. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, they're good. And like for the price or whatever.
Oh, like they're to me and a lot of people on Tire Rack where I got the tires, the reviews were like, it's like the perfect value and performance.
It's you get a really good bang for the buck. I would say for you, if you could spend a little more money, get the Pilot Sport 4S's. They are much better.
Can't right now.
No, I know. I'm saying if when you wear out these tires, I'm not saying like just throw out brand new tires.
Right. Yeah.
But definitely I would recommend the Pilot Sport 4S's. They're really, really good. And if you look at their tread pattern, it's just like straight up and down. And you think like these tires are going to be crap in the rain. Like, no, they're actually really, really good. So that was that was that dinner. Then the next day we had there was the actual race, the Sebring 12 hours.
Yep.
And it was interesting. So one thing that nobody tells you about races. Well, one thing I never do, at least. Maybe people do say this. The cars are incredibly, incredibly loud.
Yes.
And it's not like I've heard loud things. I've been to concerts. It's a different kind of loud. It's this loud that if you hear a 4GT race car or like a Porsche 911 GT car or something, it gets in your ear. Like it feels like a bee has just like set up residence in your brain. And it is so loud. Like we were basically right behind the pits. But we were in an enclosed, kind of like a cage. It's a cage for journalists. Yeah.
On display for all the world to see.
Exactly. Don't tap on the glass. Mommy, he's a blogger. Yeah, so we were in there, and like it was loud, like you can hear the glass rumbling, but when you get out and there's like some grandstands right near it, oh my God. You need ear protection because when those cars come by and there's like a group of them, we had access to this turn. It wasn't turn 17, but it was like the chicane. And there's a little hole in the fence right by it. This is like straight up Florida stuff. They took us two at a time because listen, if a car is going off the track and it very well could go off the track.
Yes.
At that point, you're out. Like there is no way you're surviving. But there was a tree somewhere, so I mean, you could probably die for the tree. But these things are going like it's going way faster than you can react. So they took two people at a time, and you can actually stick your head through the fence, and you're on the track. Like you can stick your phone through the fence, right? And the whole time I'm going like, is this like okay? Like, is this all right? Like, should we be doing this? And then like you do it, and these cars go by. And there's just no words to describe what this experience was like. You feel it in your heart. I'm trying, like my brain is going a million miles a minute, and my mouth can't make the noises. But the Corvette C7R had so much bass in it, like you knew when it went by. The 4GT was very, very drony. You had that V6 going, like it was just like kind of like an angry bee. The 911 was just the loudest thing ever. And then you had the LMP cars, the prototype cars, which sounded like F1 cars, like nah, nah. And it was just a crazy, crazy magical experience. There's also something called the zoo. And the zoo is basically, we took a tour through the zoo, and the zoo is basically the infield, and you get to see Floridians. You get to see Florida at its most Florida.
Yeah.
So we went through, and we went on this thing called the, I think it was the Mamba bus or something like that. It was like some bus. It was like a Chevy Astro van that someone converted into a bus that carries like 30 people. Yeah, it was nuts. It was made out of wood, and we had like lawn chairs on it. It's nuts. And then we were throwing beads at people. We were like playing music and throwing beads at people.
What?
Yeah, we're throwing beads, but I mean, people were. It was the middle of the day, so people were inebriated already.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we were going through, and the infield is just filled with cars and
beer.
It's that's not an exaggeration. There were many campsites where the ground was just littered with light beer cans.
Yeah. So
red Solo cups everywhere.
What really Sebring is just a party, and sometimes a race breaks out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like Bathurst
it's
in Australia. It's like the massive fist fight, and there might be some racing in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. So we saw some really interesting inebriated people that were
Floridian.
Yeah, they're locals. They know their stuff.
I have family that lived down in Okeechobee, which is very close to Sebring, and so I encountered the type while visiting family. My family, they are not the type. They are not the type. They do not drink, but everyone else in Okeechobee does. And boy, is it fun!
Oh yeah. So we also saw one of the cringiest things I've ever seen. Now I know it's a car podcast, but we're gonna delve a little bit.
Wait,
into
this is a car podcast?
I believe so. I think that's what it said on.
I thought this was a steak podcast.
No, I'm hungry now.
Same.
So we saw, me and some other YouTubers, we decided to go out and see what the commoners are doing. I didn't want
Go out, walk amongst the plebs.
we didn't want to because listen, this entire event was top shelf this and Michelin starred that, and you get access to these millions of dollars of blah blah blah, right? And we're like, let's just do the thing that everybody sees, you know? So we went into the infield.
Bud Light and PB&J.
That's right. That's right. So we went into the infield and we saw a bikini contest.
Oh no!
If you want to talk about the cringiest thing, like this is literally.
I may not want to talk about it.
Sure. I might not want to talk about it. Actually, F Spot just put out part of it on his video. So check out F Spot.
Or don't.
No.
Do.
You should definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Because,
check out what we deal with here in Florida.
Because here's the thing, like I don't want to toot my own horn, or maybe it's not tooting my own horn. Maybe it's just showing that I'm such a. I'm really boring. Like I don't smoke. I don't drink.
Same.
I've never been to a strip club.
Me either.
So it's not that the I've never been inclined to do that.
I've never desired an alphabetized collection of all the hepatitises.
I don't care about that. Like, it's because I respect women too much.
No, it's just gross.
Yeah, no.
So they're usually just really gross places to be.
Right. So I felt weird and skeeved out. So we went to this thing, and we're standing in the back, and there is a sea of guys. Probably I want to say 200 guys. And these girls get on stage, and the most cringeworthy thing was the announcer. The announcer is this 40-something, maybe 50-something, midlife crisis, balding, fat guy. He went on some diatribe about the Me Too movement. Now, I don't want to get political at all.
Right.
Yeah. But he went on some diatribe about you used to be able to pat somebody on the butt and tell them good job, but now you can't do that anymore. And I'm like, dude, like,
you're like,
what time we gotta get back? Cause this is my So he started going over all the girls, like they say kind of like their measurements and what guys most compliment them on. It's always something stupid like guys most compliment her on her eyes, and she'll use the prize money to start a YouTube channel. How many of you are from YouTube? And then like no. No. So it was, they started out in t-shirts, and then they went back into and changed into bikinis. But like after they went back, I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I am not watching this train wreck. This is bad. The funniest thing about it is that we saw Florida Man. We saw Florida Man, the guy who's always on the news. When they say, when you have the news headline that says Florida Man, wrestles alligator and wins shockingly, or something like that. Like the bath salts archetype.
Oh yeah.
We saw him, and he is a man in his 50s, and he has a back tattoo, a completely red back, because he does not own a shirt
or sunscreen.
No, sunscreen is a bridge too far, and his skin is that of a hot dog that has been left boiling a tad too long, and his pants were a size too big. They were worn in a little much, right? And he's just his gut's hanging out. I know this is super hot talk here.
Absolutely, yeah.
But he's just like
gut wrench every day.
Yeah, except.
So was that a synchronized gag?
It was. We were we synced up like E.T. and that kid who never got any acting work afterwards.
I'm pretty sure Drew Barrymore had a few more movies.
No, Drew Barrymore didn't have the psychic connection with E.T. It was a boy.
It was a joke. You killed the joke.
That's it, guys.
Just like maybe killed that kid's acting career. What's up?
Whoa!
You brought it back.
Totally redeemed yourself.
Nope.
All right, so that was super cringeworthy. But you guys can watch F Spot's video, and you can watch that whole. It was really, really bad. I felt bad standing there because not because I like the female form just like anybody. And
Okay, Dad, this is enough. I'm gonna go back to doing my homework now.
let me tell you about how kids are made.
Nope.
If women want to be sexy or whatever, I don't care. Just like if men want to be sexy, I don't care.
I want to be sexy.
You don't have to try.
3, 2, 1.
Oh no, dude, you have some fans. You have some fans. I guarantee you. Message this guy. Message him.
No, don't. I have a girlfriend.
Message him anyway.
No, don't do it.
So, yeah, like I don't care about any of that. Like the whole like grid girls thing, I'm kind of ambivalent on that. Just because if people want to do it, they want to do it. I don't necessarily like the sort of exploitation aspect. I can get that argument, but nobody's being forced to do it, and if they're like models are models, like that's a job, right? So I have no problem with that. The problem is when the announcer gets up and says, "These girls have very low self-esteem. We need to make sure that they get better self-esteem by like hooting and hollering and basically just judging them."
It becomes like a sideshow at that point.
It is exactly a sideshow, and I'm like, I don't want a part in this. Like, at no point did I feel like I'm a part of this group. Let's do this. Yeah, guys.
I love standing in a sea of sweaty dudes. It's my favorite.
No, but it was just that's one thing that I would do without if I'm being completely honest.
So you left the commoner area, you left all the surfs?
No, I went right back to the Michelin starred everything. Yeah. I'm like, this is too real for me. Too real, guys.
This is below me.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to the hospitality suite. I'm going to have my hors d'oeuvres, and I'm going to scribble on my iPad about how this is perpetuating the patriarchy. No, I mean, like, it's just not for me. I'm not that dude.
Yeah, same.
So, but everything else about Sebring was magical, and I don't have enough words to say how great it was. But I'm sure that it's that way with every racetrack. If you're like really into cars and you geek out on all this stuff.
Oh yeah, totally.
And you have all these experiences. Like in the last podcast, I talked about how I went on this GTLM car, and it was like the most violent and brutal. It's basically like getting in a bar fight in a car, but.
New band name, In-Car Bar Fight.
In-Car Bar Fight. I feel like
that one rolls off the tongue really well.
Yeah, but it's like in-car barf. Like there's that aspect to it. No,
I'm sticking with In-Car Bar Fight.
Okay, In-Car Bar Fight. I think Mini Cooper Sidecar is probably better. Mini Cooper Sidecar with Rusty Porsche at the helm,
and they can both open for In-Car Bar Fight.
No, I think In-Car Bar Fight is like they're
the opening act.
Yeah, they're the opening act.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so we rambled on. At least I did. We should probably get to some questions in the next episode, maybe. How about that? We should talk about like actually wrenching, because I haven't actually talked about wrenching. I just talked about like cool car stuff that happened to me.
You talked about things that were gut wrenching.
Yes, I did. So that's sort of All right, so that's on.
Thanks for watching, guys.
All right. So if you want to contact us, you can do so at iwrencheveryday@gmail.com. You can see us. You can contact us as well on Instagram and Twitter. I had a brain fart there.
Don't hurt yourself.
Wrench Every Day on Instagram and Twitter. Also, we have a Facebook page, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great.
It's there.
Okay.
Nothing's happened yet, but it's there.
All right. So you can reach me at The Real Tavarish at Instagram and Twitter, and all my stuff is in the link below. Andrew?
You can find me on Instagram at Heavy Metal FL, and also on Twitter at 1565. That's the word 15 and the number 65.
Awesome. So, that's it. I think in the next episode, we're going to be talking about more wrenching stuff, and my Sebring... my Sebring stuff is kind of coming to a close, but maybe I'll weave another tale.
I'm sure you will.
Awesome.
Did you know that I've been deceiving? Did you know that I have a Lamborghini Gallardo Twin Turbo?
Did I let you know that I bought the cheapest? All right.
Have you heard about veganism and CrossFit?
All right. So this is me, Tavarish, for Andrew Howell, reminding you guys to wrench every day.